And we went to the Park Service at Roger Williams National Memorial, and we asked them for a permit to have a large gathering in that park, which happens to be the birthplace of religious freedom in America. We chose that spot because there's a well there and a door that have very, very special religious and historical significance. The well is the well of promise and the well of prophecy. At that well, Roger Williams promised all the native people that the land and the waters would belong to all the people forever. That it wouldn't be that just a few people had it all and everybody else had to work for them, but that the bounty of the land belonged to us all. That was what Roger Williams promised at that spot, and they put that well there to mark it. The door next to the well is the door of sanctuary. That was the door to the Underground Railroad, and that was the door where someone seeking sanctuary from anywhere, for any reason, could go, and they could go in that door, and no one would touch them. That was sacred in Rhode Island. Everyone vowed to honor that, because everyone needs a sanctuary. So we went to that spot, and we were called to that spot, because the prophecy at that well is that from that spot, the healing of the nations will be declared, and healing waters would flow out to the four corners of the earth. Some people think, I know that on the cross it says in R.I., because that means Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews. Some prophets have seen that to mean that there's a special significance in this tiny state where we have both a Galilee and a Jerusalem. That we, because of the laws we have that allow us to be compassionate, can really be a light to all the other places here and show people what it's like to be able to grow and share cannabis and use it to help everyone, the single mothers, the people needing work. And we don't need jobs where people go and work for $10 an hour and then pay half of it back in taxes. We need vocations where people have their own garden, their own vine, their own fig tree, their own means of industry and productivity to provide for their families, and where they understand that what they put in is what they take out is what they put in, and that the more we share, the more everybody has. So that's really the message of the Healing Church. We wanted to proclaim that at the well of the prophecy, so we asked for a permit. And the site director was very, very concerned that we might use our sacred plant, because we told her we pray with cannabis. And she kept telling us, well, you can have your prayer service, but you can't pray. With the cannabis, you can just talk about it and have signs about it. But don't practice your religion at this spot. And we said, well, that's what practicing your religion means. You do what you say. If you see somebody hungry, you feed them. You don't just walk past them and call them a bum. If you believe cannabis will heal, then you give it to someone who's sick. You don't sell it to them for $400 an ounce so that you can have 2 boats and an expensive wedding in Block Island. What the hell? So anyway, finally they said, we can have our permit, but we can't use our cannabis. And so we went to the spot to pray and prepare for 9 days. So Thursday we went and we prayed with our sacrament and nothing happened. And Friday we went and we prayed with our sacrament and nothing happened. I mean, well, as far as interaction with the Park Service, things happen in the world because prayer always makes things happen. Saturday we went and prayed with our sacrament, and no harm to the parks, we didn't even see them. But Sunday when we went, we happened to come across a Park Service employee named Sparky. She saw us and she came over and she said, well, you guys can't be doing that until Saturday. You have to come back on Saturday when you have the permit to use your cannabis. And we said, oh, we thought the permit was just to have a lot of people. We didn't know the permit was, is the permit to use our cannabis? And she said, yeah. I said, well, okay, let's go straighten this all out, because we don't think we need a permit to pray in a group of 2 or 3. And so I gave her my ministerial credentials, which I happen to have with me. I'm an ordained Christian minister since 2002. And she took them. And then we waited and waited. She said, you guys going to still be here? And we waited using our cannabis. And about an hour later, some very, very nice Providence policemen came. And they told us to please wait until Saturday to smoke our cannabis in the park, and otherwise to check out with the Park Service what we can do with just a few people. No, there's a court case called Boardley versus Park Service that says the only thing a permit is for is to have a large crowd. The actual behavior that's protected by the First Amendment is protected by the First Amendment, doesn't need a permit. So we said, okay, that's what the law says. So yesterday, we went and we did the same thing that we had. Oh, wait, I forgot to tell you, Monday when we went, a parks agent with a large badge came. And he tried to give us a ticket and get our name. And I didn't want him touching our sacred vessels, and so I sang Amazing Grace. And he ran away. The video was just amazing. He just fled. Like, he didn't like my singing. And then the next day we went back, and there were he brought back all his friends. There were 10 armed, federal agents in body armor, Providence police in body armor. There's 10 people standing there watching us pray. And then when we got to the part where we lit our cannabis, they approached us and they pushed Alan, pressed him down to his knees, took away the chalice. And then I went over and I said, well, wait a minute, I lit it and I handed it to him. I get to go too. So I talked to the police while they were processing Alan, and then they processed me. And they let me drink all my sacred oil, and they waited patiently while I cleaned out everything from the jar. He even told me to hurry up and finish. Which is really funny. I'm basically eating cannabis, Evan. I'm eating cannabis. I'm eating cannabis in front of all these 10 policemen. I was saying, I have to eat this all because it's sacred and you can't touch it. You can't touch an unbeliever. And so I drank it. And I'm wiping it up, I have my scarf, and I'm wiping it up, and you're watching. Imagine if a policeman stopped you and you said, wait a minute while I eat this bag of cannabis. and he's going, hurry up, finish it up now. He actually said that, it's on tape. You cannot make this stuff up, Edwin. So, I guess they realized how ridiculous it was because they probably spent $20,000 writing 3 tickets yesterday, and they got a half a joint and a tiny little crumb. And they got our chalice. But it wasn't worth $20,000. Big trip out of the National Park. It's just so funny. So today when we came, they just stood there and watched with respect, and I saluted them. And then we came back and we did it again. So we offered 2 prayer services, one at 4:20, one at 5:20, and all the police and all the park service agents just stood down and watched us. And I say respect, and I say thank you for realizing that we do have a First Amendment, and it does have meaning. And we are still going to ask for the injunction because it's kind of schizophrenic to one day arrest us and the next day watch us. And I hope you learn and it's permanent, but we could get another bad precedent. So I feel like it has to be written down in the law for all time. So please join me in prayer that Armstrong and Gordon and Herrera BFGH, yep, that's the order, will become landmark case to say that no one can fence up a gift of God, a gift of nature, and use it just for the benefit of the few to the detriment of the many. And that's what we're all about.